Everybody, we're back at BlogWorld New Media Expo, or should I just say New Media Expo. We're here with Rick, the head honcho, the top dog, the CEO of BlogWorld.
Well, how's it going, Andrew?
I love your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
I love that,
that
the
is an
CEO
awesome
of BlogWorld
shirt.
has the shirt, has a Ron Jeremy shirt on.
It's Ron, Jeremy, and Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Ron Paul
Ron
2012.
Brilliant. Rick, it's been great this year. I mean, there were so many podcasters, and I want to emphasize that because it's been a transition for you guys. You know, it was BlogWorld, New Media Expo, and podcasters have been screaming, well, how about us?
Yeah.
And this is the answer.
They've always, a lot of podcasters have felt like second-class citizens at BlogWorld for a long time. We never felt that way, but we had to change the name to kind of show them that no, it's not BlogWorld, as Cliff Ravenscraft said one day, and New Media Expo. It's just New Media Expo.
I've never felt that personally. Last year was the first time we did this, and you guys were excellent to us. We broadcasted from here this year, but this year I have seen a change in the audience. It's a lot of internet broadcasters and a lot of bloggers that have gone into podcasting.
You know, 2 years ago we tried to change the name of the podcasting track to the digital broadcasting track. And the podcasters, I mean, they lost their minds. They're like, oh my God, there's no more podcasting track at BlogWorld. We're like, no, we just changed the name. And they didn't, that's not what they wanted. So, you know, now we have distinct differences: blogging, podcasting, and web TV. And they're three different things.
No, they are.
You know, so many people are coming over to the booth. There's such an interest now with internet broadcasting, and I knew that we were going to be popular. I had no idea that we would be so busy. We gave away everything, and you know, I've been watching people kind of moving around. They seem to be gravitating for sure to podcasting and internet broadcasting. Even if they're bloggers, they want to get involved in internet broadcasting.
You know, we said this yesterday in the keynote talk. The industry is getting to a point where they're starting to understand they're an industry. You know, blogging, podcasting, web TV, they're all in the same space. And
Right.
Again, I don't know if you guys saw the talk the first day, but we had Gary Hoover talk about the founder of Time Magazine and the founder of CBS Television. We're doing the same shit those guys did.
Yeah.
Right.
And you just look at what they did. And you'll see what happened to their industry, and it'll happen to our industry. National Association of Broadcasters, which is going to be the old media equivalent of,
Right.
you know, International Association of Internet Broadcasters, is all radio and television.
That's right.
And that's what IAIB will be.
And that's one thing that I've always said, and you guys have done a great job of creating community around BlogWorld. It's almost, everybody kind of knows who's involved and what's going on, and it's an open door. I mean, everybody spreads the wealth, everybody spreads information. If you go to blogworld.com, there's always articles about how to better your show and how to better what you're doing, and you guys have great writers. But a lot of people have kind of held back on releasing some information, and that's something that I'm really against doing, and I think a lot of broadcasters, internet broadcasters, should not be doing. And that's something that Spencer and I have been trying to eradicate, especially
I think there's a place for the guys that want to be consultants and they want to get, you know, they can work with bigger corporations who just don't have the time to learn and to do this stuff themselves. But I also think it's important to provide a free exchange of information, to share quote-unquote trade secrets with the guys that are just trying to learn about internet broadcasting.
I mean, you hear the story about a big fish in a small pond. The pond, or the gigantic, overwhelming ocean of internet broadcasting, has plenty of room in it for every one of us.
I agree.
And so the problem that we have is not, you figured out a way to make money, and now if you teach me, I'm going to take your money away from you. The problem is all of us together making as big of a presence in the traditional awareness, the public awareness, that, oh my God, internet radio, internet TV, blogging is so big, we need to spend ad dollars there.
Right.
We need to sponsor those guys. That's our problem.
Well, I think the
and
goal,
so by sharing that stuff and helping other people be successful, that's going to make us better. Every one of us will make more money. The more podcasters who make money, the more podcasters who will make money.
That's the key. The whole key, and Andrew and I discussed this at length, is really to be a force in the evolution of internet broadcasting, as opposed to, again, everyone is kind of like, you know, segmenting themselves or separating themselves. They're trying to be an island, you know, of their own, and together we could really make some tremendous strides.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think you know, both of our companies, you know, we're kind of trying to take people on the same path. What is some uphill battles that you've seen with podcasting over the last couple of years? Because the bubble bursted a long time ago. That there was a big bubble with podcasting. Everybody was doing a podcast. And I think around 2007, 2008, a lot of it went away.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, but they're coming back now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
what do you think has changed over the last couple of years that's bringing everybody back?
Well,
or most people, a lot of people
with
back.
a lot of new technologies, and I saw it happen with Twitter. Definitely it was in the podcasting community where people thought, oh, this thing's going to change the world, and we're going to do this. And a lot of at first people weren't even thinking about money, right? They were just doing it because they loved it and they wanted to do it.
Right.
Then people started thinking, wow, I could be making a lot of money doing this because it's getting a lot of attention. And then that money didn't happen because, again, those advertisers who buy ads on radio or buy ads on TV or traditional print media, magazines and newspapers, they don't understand. I was just talking about this at the Social Chorus booth. They don't understand the medium enough to want to do it. That was the problem then. Now the problem is, again, the Social Chorus guys were saying this, those media companies are used to writing checks for $10 million when they do a media buy.
Yeah.
And a podcaster saying, hey, can you give me $20,000?
Right.
They can't even write that check.
Yeah. It's not, to them, that doesn't, they don't even understand why.
Right.
Why they're writing it.
Yeah.
Then they're saying, oh, this is a waste of our time to even do this. So you have these intermediary companies coming into the space that will help podcasters, and same thing with bloggers and web TV, who will aggregate this content and let media write the checks that they're used to writing, or at least of a reasonable size, where they can give money to the agency, and then the agency distributes that money to the content creator across several content creators. I mean, that's one of the models that's happening. Right. Obviously, podcasters are learning how to deal with small businesses to get advertisers, maybe not from big brands. In the past, that was the only place to go. Now, small brands are understanding, oh, this is a place we could never afford to buy ads on TV or to buy ads on radio. I can sponsor a podcast. I can sponsor a web TV show.
Yeah, and and I've always said that you don't need an Adam Carolla type audience to be monetizing.
No way.
And be successful at it. You can monetize depending on what your niche is and depending on how dedicated your audience is. You're able to monetize it. Spencer has a very unique audience, a very niche audience, but it's significant to somebody that would want to advertise on it.
But you know what's interesting? Even though it appears to be niche, 2/3 of men by the age of 35 deal with what I talk about. So it's really pretty broad. But advertisers in general never really understood how broad it is. It's not just, I'm in the hair loss industry. It's not just hair loss products that appeal to men who are dealing with hair loss. It's cars, it's beer, it's any male product. But when I decided to cross over to internet broadcasting, I didn't want to use the old school model of television and radio to try to find a way to monetize. Ads are great, 30-second ads are great, roll-ins and roll-outs are great, but I chose to build a community around my broadcast. I have no advertisers within the broadcast itself. I want that to be pure for my listeners and for my viewers. And as far as my sponsors or underwriters are concerned, I give them an opportunity to use and utilize my resources where my listeners go to 24/7. And they may be, interacting on a message forum together. They may be reading my blog. And then my guys can go in there, my advertisers, and they can interact directly with my users and readers.
That's another really important point. There's no one model. In traditional media, there's one model. You create the content, you sell ads against it. In new media, there's a million ways you can monetize your content. It doesn't have to be done one way.
That's right. And we have the internet. We have the entirety of the internet to somehow get our point across, to get our message out there, and to then allow our advertisers to use that message in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Rick, I know I'm getting the sign. You got to go. I'm getting yelled at. Thanks again for everything. You guys have been great to us. This was an amazing conference.
Yeah,
I think this was extremely successful, and I'm really looking forward to Vegas.
Thank you, Andrew. It's awesome to have you guys here, and I'm excited that we're going to get you guys to come out west now and come to Vegas.
I'm coming.
We've given you the excuse to come on out and have fun and do this there in Vegas and meet a whole other group of podcasters that don't come to New York. So
it's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll be back right after this. Rick from BlogWorld, New Media Expo. Stay tuned.